Hi chat, me again, Cosmo here. Teeth. So, two random thoughts with everything to anyone maybe watching. If you do, hi. Hope things are going well wherever. Hope things are going well with you. I don't know. So, with the genocide in Palestine, I think it's really unleashed a really great response from Americans, despite, or really as America has been funding this genocide. A lot of anti-genocide people in politics haven't been fulfilling their, I guess, end of the bargain in order to stop this genocide, or to stop giving Israel weapons and whatnot. I think some of them are trying, some of them not trying as much as they should be. All of them really aren't trying as much as they should be, but some of them are trying harder than others. I commend the ones that are. I don't expect American politicians to be great figures of human rights despite their political leanings. Um, and I say that as someone who wants to elect more like socialists and more progressives into office, but whatever. Um, I guess with the genocide in Palestine, with the politicians' response, and with the Americans' people's response, is very inspiring, but it's also very depressing. Um, Especially since it seems like some people in this country can only oppose Israel if they also oppose the Jews, which is obviously bad. Um, Bad. Uh, but there still is a lot of hope with kind of militant anti-Zionist left, despite there being a lot of Zionist leftists out there. But that's fading fast. So there's a lot of hope, but there's also a lot of restricting factors, bad people, bad actors on every side, but mostly the Zionists, evil Hitlerite faction, which is all Zionists, obviously. Despite some Zionists being more Hitlerite than others, but anyway. Sorry, my dad's watching horrible videos. I don't know what's up with that, but with all of it, the genocide in Palestine, it gives me hope, even though it's also very horrid. But really, life overall, and by life, I mean like the collective lives of all human beings, what they contribute to the earth, how they affect other lives, and how other lives affect them and their lives. How these different factors are turning against each other, like two cogs running against each other with sparks flying and pieces of rust falling off. It's dialectical, really. Marx predicted it, I think, even though Marx was wrong about some stuff, but he was right that differing factors like the classes will conflict with each other. I think Stalin might have talked about atoms doing that with reference to revolution, and Lenin talked about how the democracy of the classes, in which class gets to have democracy and which doesn't, or rather, what class controls the other one, or what class controls the democracy of a different class, despite the illusions of social democracy and anti-corruption measures and anti-capitalist measures under a capitalist system. And you see that with Israel, to get back to that, where you have a so-called democracy for the Israelis, for Israelis, but not for Palestinians. For some Israelis, but other Israelis. It's not a very democratic system, but really full democracy envisioned by liberals is not a true thing. It can exist. If you pluralism at a certain point eats itself because you give power to different people that hate each other and power, you give equal power to forces that are on top of each other, and they use the fact they are on top of each other in order to crush and oppress others. It's really bad. Um, yeah, bye.